Welcome to the fastest stuff in town. Today I'm set this Yevamot stuff Kuf Beis. We're going to begin on Kuf Beis and Aleph, 7 lines from the top. Omer Rav Kahana, Omer Rav. Im Yovu Eliyahu. If Eliyahu himself would come, Vayomer Chotzim b'Minoil, and says that you could use a nal for chalitza, Shaimin Lo will listen to him. Ein Chotzin b'Sandal. If he tells us that you can't use a sandal, ein shaymin lo shekvar nogu am b'sandal. So since our minhag is to even use a sandal for chalitza, even if Eliyahu himself would come and tell us it cannot be done, we're not going to listen. Rav Yosef Omer Rav Kahana Omer Rav Im Yab Eliyahu v'yomer ein chotz b'minoil. If Eliyahu would come and say that you cannot use a noil, Shaimin Lo, then we would listen to him. Ein chotzim b'sandal, if he says you can't use a sandal, ein Shaimin Lo, shekvar nago b'sandal. So my binayu, ik binayu mino l'chatchila. Whether or not a person is allowed to or should use a nal l'chatchila preferably. So Amandi Amrafil l'chatchila, one who says that you could use a nal even l'chatchila for chalitza, but tanan chotza b'minoil, if you did it, which is mashma di'evedin l'chatchila lo. Whereas no, who I didn't feel l'chatchila. So why does it say in this way? Because I did the boil misnei seifa ban pilia chalitza psul, which you said was like a type of a sock. That if you would use a sock for chalitza, it would be pasul di'afil b'di'eved. So tani namareish di'avad umenal l'chatchila tanahi. But the truth is, whether you can use a nal l'chatchila is actually machlokas. The sign. Rav Yosef Hamachas halachtil and it's one time I went to this location. Matzas isakanechad, I found an elder. Lamarti loy komat baki Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Is there anyone here that's a baki in the dinim of Yehuda ben Beseira? So Omer Uli said, "Hen, yeah, bein shulchani, who v'al shulchani who tadir kulam." This individual that he would constantly see people doing chalitza. Said, I saw that chalitza was done many times. So he asked, okay, great. So you've seen this procedure. What do you mean? You're telling me that you could even use a nal at all? Okay. Amarti lo imkain marora meir. Then how could he possibly have said it was kosher? So why does he say nal cannot be used? Panta mial, the arkasa mial, demial, but armor mial demaal. So if the reason is because it's like a panta, Rashi says gav haminal, like the top, it's on the top of the shoe. So then that's an issue of nal dema'al, that you can't have some like a shoe on top of the shoe and take the top one off. The outer one off doesn't do anything. Then if that was the reason, then it shouldn't work even di'evid. Maran says rather that's not what the issue is. Rather it's gezer mishum minal marupot. We're talking about the potential that this may be torn. If let's say it's small to the foot, so therefore because of that we don't want you to use that. Rashi says marupot is mebuka karua milmal. It's ripped at the top. Kivan derachich, since it's so soft, a nal is a softer shoe. Afagav the karua, even if it's torn, maitivle a karye, it can still fit in the foot. Avol sandal shu kasha, a sandal which is more hard, ein yochel yashiv al ragloi mishin nivchas v'leikla migzumidi. There's nothing to be concerned of if it gets torn, because then it can't be used because it's so hard. So therefore, we're not concerned of a null marut pot, or as again because maybe of the size. Question 7. I can read this. Madua chalitza b'minal enu l'chatchila. So nal is not l'chatchila, as we say, gezer mishum minal marupot, either because of torn or chatz minal, because it may not be the right size. Amarav ilav decha mite chabibi. If it wasn't for my mother-in-law to my uncle, the cholitz basandal, that I saw that they use a sandal, the easily shinsin, that had these straps. Anolo havi chalitzna el basandala ditaya de mihadak tfei. I would have used these sandals of the Arabs that are tighter. I would have used that. But since I saw them use the sandal which had straps, so now that's what I use. V'hai didan avagav de isbe chum rasa katrinan be misna. Even though it has the ability to tighten the knot, we use these straps. So that it will end up being a better chalitza. Says Rashi, kesher kosher al savaso. There's like this knot that you could tie on the edges. Mamido shel yetzim min regel, so it doesn't leave the foot. If you'll hakim b'shas chalitza katrinan be misna, we tie up with this knot. Kihechi detesi he v'tishrei, so that she'll be able to untie the shoe. The other tachlites, the havi chalitza malia. Okay. Simin hataras yevama sandal. So I'm Rabbi Yehuda and Merav. Hataras yevama was shook b'shmitas roiv ha'akev. That in order to be able to matter a woman who removes the shoe, even if she removes just rov ha'akev, a part of the shoe, meisvei hutritsuois. If the straps were already untied by themselves, minol, Rashi says, Shol hitirasanhi, she didn't untie them, they just were untied by themselves. The sandal, the sandal, shishamat roiv haregel, or let's say only part of it was removed, chalitzas psula. Now, taima the shamit who? The reason why is because he untied it. Or shamtehi, mashma, if she did, chalitzas kshera, then it would be kosher. Rov haregel in, rov ha'akev lo. But it says the majority of the foot, not the majority of the heel. Where it says lo. Hainu rov haregel, hainu rov ha'akev, it's really the same thing. In my karli rov haregel, the kul chayil the kara alei the chis. That the weight of the leg goes and supports onto the heel. Misailu Rav Yana dim Rav Yana ben shehiter hu v'shamtehi ben shetirhi v'shamtahu chalitzas psula. If only she does either untying the laces or removing the shoe, it's not good. Achetaterhi v'tashmit he. She needs to do both acts. She has to untie the shoe, and she also has to remove the shoe, to untie the laces. So by Rav Yana, Kurashu mahu. What if instead of removing the shoe, she rips it off? She rips it, just rips it into like two. So, or for that matter, Surafasu mahu. What if she burns his shoes? The guy's wearing shoes, he burns them up, burns his feet up. Also, so guluye kara bi'inan vo'ika. Do you need to reveal the foot and the heel? And that's what's happening because the shoes will be ripped off. It has to be physically removed, and not that it's going to like burn off. Teku. What if you have a shoe on top of another shoe? That she only removed the outer shoe. And the inner shoe remained. That certainly is not acceptable because it says it has to be on him and not taking off the one which is on and on the one which is on him. So that certainly is not good. What if she rips off the outer shoe and pulled off the inner one? But the outer one still staying on. My chalitz be'inan b'ha'ika, because she did chalitz with the inner one. She needs to have the entire foot revealed, and that's not happening over here. So this is Question 7b. Ad heichen shir chalitzas hanal min haregel. So what is the measurement? So he said ad roiv ha'akev, the majority of the ankle. Okay. TA 25. He says as follows. Ask the question. If you have these two shoes, one top of the other, so what is the din as far as chalitza? So as we said, if you remove the outer one and the inner one stays, that's nothing because it's mal d'ma'al. If the tachtoin is removed, it's a sub, but the outer one stays, it's a suffix. If it's chalitza, and that's chalitza, or gilui kara b'inan v'leika. So therefore, again, it would be a teku. So it's or a sveika. We're not sure what the answer is. Okay. Dilma gilui kara b'inan v'leika. As we continue, kuf beis, amud beis. How is that possible that you remove the inner one but not the outer one? In the Chazu Rabban and the Rabbi Yehuda the Nafik B'chamsha Zuze Mukil Shuka, that it says over here Perish Zugos Chamisha Zugos Mukil Shuka, that we actually saw that this was actually done in the marketplace. Rabbi Yehuda Marav Yevamot Shehigdila bin Achim. Let's say you have a woman that she was always with the brothers. She's allowed to do yibum with them. We're not concerned that at one point she may have removed his shoe, one of these guys' shoes. So time it's only because we didn't see it. If we did see her do this, then we should be concerned that, as Rashi says, apparently it doesn't matter. You're telling me that if you actually saw that this happened, we're chayish, even though it was not done with the kavanah of chalitza. But we learned, they both have to have the intention to do chalitza. If she just takes off his shoe, that doesn't accomplish anything. If she's just, he says, "Oh, I'm tired. Can you help me take off my shoe?" That's not an act of chalitza if it wasn't done intentionally. So even if we see ein chashishin, we're still not concerned because maybe they had kavana for or not for. We are concerned. I thought we said we needed kavana. It depends. In order to free her to the world, so it has to be an actual act of chalitza with kavana. If it was done, the shoe was taken off, it will passel her from being able to marry, do yibum with any of the brothers. Which is question 8. Im chalitza sricha kavana. This is also TB 26. So question 8 is very interesting. The way that question 8 reads, it says, L'shtruli alma sar kavana. L'misl al achin machlokas. So again, it's a machlokas if it will actually accomplish anything. If it will even passel the brothers, which is what TB 26 says. Sandal hatafor bepishtan. If let's say a person has a shoe, a sandal which is sewn up with flax, linen, in cholzen bo shenemar v'nalech tachash, that the shoe has to actually be made out of tachash, which we'll call leather. Ve'ema tachash in midechrin lo. Nal riva. It could be anything. I need nal riva feel kol milinam, anything. Imkein tachash maya hanile. So therefore, it actually has to be something comparable to tachash. Says Taisus, Mekan or Rabbeinu Tam, shetzarch sheheminal meor behema tahara. The tachash ksiv. It actually has to come from a kosher animal. They nira ke'enu hakbid im cholotz b'minol behema tameya. He says that I don't see this because it doesn't seem like we're really makbid that it has to be come from the hide of a kosher animal. Ayin Taisus. Ba'mini Rebbe Lezim Rav. Who shall, or let's say it's made out of leather. However, utreisiov shall sayar. Mahud. Straps are made out of like hairs. Rashi says menutza shall izim, from goats. So Amalei miloi karinan be an v'en alech tachash. Didn't we read this pasuk, which again implies that it has to be the shoe is made out of this leather. Ihachi kul shel seir nami. Then maybe if, let's say, the whole thing is made out of this goat hair, tahu karka mikre. Those are just called like slippers. Those aren't actually shoes. So therefore, if it's just if we're only talking about the straps, it's okay, as long as the shoe is tachash's leather. However, if the whole thing is made out of seyar, then not. Armalei Rav Kahana l'shmol mamaydahai the cholza no miyal ragloi mishlafu. How do we know when it says chalitza? It removes. It's referring to removing of the shoe. Dechsiv v'chiltzu es ha'avanim asher bahein hanaga. Regarding saras, they had to remove the stones if there was saras in the house. So it says v'chiltzu is referring to the removal of stones. So therefore chalitza means to remove. Ve'ema zeruzehu, maybe it means putting the shoe on. Dechsiv hicholtzu mi'idchem anashim latzava. Prepare men for battle. So hasam nami shalufim mibesa likrava means that these families and these soldiers need to go away from their homes. Which again sounds like they should prepare the poor and help the poor. So b'schar anyai, it means in the reward of helping the poor, yichaltzai medina shel gehenim, you'll be taken away from gehenim. So again it means you'll be removed. So there it implies we're talking about that it is prepared or put on in our case. Where it says b'schar yireyav, the reward for those people that fear Hashem, yichaltzeim medina shel gehenim. Again, they'll be removed from Gehenim. That in your bones will be strong. So Rabbi Lezer Zuma'ula she bebrachos. This is actually one of the greatest of the brachos that is actually being recited in this context. V'yomer Zeruzi Garme, but it says that the strengthening the bones. Meretz is right. In mashmahachi. The word chalitza actually could have either connotation. It could mean taking off or putting on. However, the hacha isach that is ruzahi, if it's referring to putting on the shoe, imkein lechem rachmana v'cholza naloi baraglo. So say putting on the shoe on his foot. Ikas rachmana baraglo havamina baraglo in b'shoika lo. Chaz rachmana mi'al raglo diafil b'shoika. It's coming to tell you, even as Rashi says, im nechtach ragloy. Let's say it's an amputee, that you can even put it on the part of the leg, even though some of it was amputated. Im ken nechtach rachmana b'me'al raglo. My me'al ragloy shmamina mishlafu. It says you should take it from the foot. It sounds like you're taking the shoe away, and therefore it's a rai that's mishlafu. That chalitza is the removal of the shoe. Armaleahu minal Rabbi Gamliel. So Min said to Gamliel, Amad the chalitzle meremine, that your master has done chalitza with you. With your sheep and cattle it'll go. L'vakesh es Hashem, to search God. V'lo yimatzu, it will not be found. Cholatz mehem, Hashem got rid of you. That's what the chalitza is. Armalei shaita miksiv cholatz lehem, cholatz mehem ksiv. It says that they were separated from them. So what is that? Look at Rashi. Who kibel chalitz mehem? The Yevamot. When it comes to Yevamot, the chaltzimina achim shahayavim kibel himena midi mishasha isbe. So the Yevamot the chaltzule achin when chalitza was done, he's separating from the brothers midi mishasha isbe, something which has mamashas. Bi'anpilya chalitzasa psul. So he said that if you do chalitza with a sock, it's nothing. So remember the anpil minalhu, it's not considered a nal. It's not nami. Ein hatayrim nichnas, someone who is doing truma cannot enter lo bipargoid, not with pockets, a pargoid chafos, lo panpalia, and not with these socks. Apparently, because there is a chshad that people may put things into their pockets. Certainly not with their shoes. They can stick in their shoes. Just as they're not allowed to enter into the azara with these things. Or minhu, a person should not travel, not from house to house, not from bed to bed. It says Rashi, Yom Kippurim, diving Netila sandal. This is considered like wearing shoes. So therefore we see by Yom Kippur that even an anpili is aser. So Mabaya, the isbe kasise. It's talking about if there's a cushion inside, umishum tainug. And the whole issue is because of pleasure, says Rashi. Umishum tainug v'amishum to having ne'ilah. It's not because it's considered to be a shoe. Umishum tainug. So Amalei Rabba mishum tainug b'lo minol b'yom kippurim b'yasiri. If you're telling me there's an issue of pleasure, but this is also on Yoma, but it's not a null, so why can't you wear them on Yom Kippur? Rabba Barav Huna, Karach Sudra Kari, he put sheets or cloths around his feet, but nothing, he went out. If it's made out of leather, not. If it's made out of cloth, it's okay. The sign of tell Adam beso. A person cannot go out. Rashi says minolim dakim, these small shoes, shnualim tachas minolim, that you wear underneath thicker nalim, lahagin min hamayim, to protect from water, like almost like some type of waterproof shoe you put over your shoe. Abumataylahu banpilin beso. You could wear these socks in your house. So it says you could. If it's leather, not. If it's of cloth, yes. Person can do chalitza with a nal that was ripped, to provide that's covering the majority of the foot. Besandal hanivchas, and also an open sandal, shemekabelas roiv haregel, that holds the majority of the foot. Besandal shel shav shel siv, bekav hakitea, and you can use these different shoes regarding an amputee. Bamuk besmichas regalim, and then it says bampilia shel or. It says, and you can use a sock of leather. Hachayilet says min hagadol, that you can do chalitza from an older person who has obviously bigger feet, kuf gimel and aleph, bein oimed bein yoshev, bein muta, whether standing, sitting, or reclining. V'achalilet says min hasuma, and chalitza can be done with the blind. Chalitza share in all these situations is kosher. Of a binal hanirpam shein chayfes rov hamregel. If let's say it doesn't cover the majority of the foot, or besandal hanivchas sheinu mekabel rov hamregel, doesn't cover the majority of the foot. V'smichas hayadayim banpilia shel beged, which is why we're bringing this down. If it's made out of cloth, the chayletzes minakatan. If you do chalitza with a small kid's shoe that doesn't fit you at all, it's not that it's too big on you; it's so small it can't even put on you. Chalitzasa psula. So in that situation, then chalitza will be puzzle. So we're going to stop here. Let's see if we have another question. Let's see. So we did TA 25 regarding one shoe on top of the other. And then we continue with question TB 25. So that was TA 25. TB. Let's see if I can find it here. TB 26. Im chalitza sricha kavana. So that's what we had already. That according to one man, the omer always needs kavana. One man, the omer makes the difference. Lahatel alma sricha kavana. Lupoisala achin ein sricha kavana. Adkan.